I welcome you all once again. Thanks, Durga, for the introduction. So the session will be primarily focused on the challenges that people are facing on product management side, especially given the current uh, circumstance where people are working remotely. A quick intro about myself, though Durga had added quite a good number of points. So I've been working in IT industry for over 10 years, and the last 4 years, particularly in product management. Currently, I'm into the IoT division of Ericsson as a product owner. And the other functions that I have dealt so far includes product management, development, Q&A, all that, and various divisions also, the current one being telecom. So personally, I'm interested in reading, writing, and public speaking, and I thought this is a uh, good time to reach out to some people who are interested in various aspects of product management. So we took a look into the responses that we have received from the registrants. So we were able to see that almost half of the participants are currently in the role of Scrum Master, and we have project managers, and like about 25 percentage of the audience in the crowd of product management. So though I wanted to have this as a session fully focused on product management, since we had so many people who are under various other hats also. This session will be though covering the aspect of product management, but also giving points on what other roles can do to make a better product management practice possible in the current situation. Looking at the challenges that the people had submitted during the registration, we were able to see that over 60 percentage of people see that keeping the team members motivated is an issue, and over half of them say that changing requirements from customers is an issue. Same with performance and quality. And interestingly, very few participants have noted down uh, work-life balance as an issue. So I trust people have either got habituated to it, or probably they don't see it as a problem anymore, which is a very welcome change. So in the upcoming session, I'll try to handle what we can do to overcome some of these challenges. So yeah, some news updates. Of course, some of you might have already read the changes that are happening around us. So the conferences like Google I/O, Facebook F8, all these things are world famous conferences. They have been cancelled totally for 2020, and Apple's conference is made completely online for the developers. The airlines industry would be recording a loss of revenue of about $113 billion just this year. 3,771 companies declaring bankruptcy in 2020 so far. And this is the entire world changing for you. It's if you are facing some turbulence in your organization or your work, please be assured that it's not just you. The entire world is facing, all of the giants are going through this. On the other side, you can see that there are companies which are making definite progress. So the entire ecosystem is changing. You can see that Zoom, which most of us might have not heard of, they have posted about 169 percentage increase in their Q1 revenue. And yeah, Netflix has recorded about 16 million accounts just in the Q1, first 3 months of 2020. And you can see that about half of the business leaders who were taken a Gartner survey, they have told that employees might need to work permanently on remote mode here onwards. So this entire system is about to stay, and it's better we make a term with this. And this is going to stay for a longer period of time, and it is definitely going to impact us beyond COVID times. I think this is a change for good for various reasons, and let's see how. And before that, so yeah, does this genius make any sense for you if I say remote working? Don't think that all of us work on keyboard. So yeah, maybe if you guessed it right. So Mr. Rahman, who is a genius in his own way. He has adapted to latest technologies much ahead of the times from his peers. So if you think of a beautiful composition, which could be, I'm sure you all might have heard of Rahman, and some of his songs might be in your favorites already. So if you take any song, for example, uh, you will know that the song recording might be happening at one place. He might have written the notes at some other place. People would be composing in a different place. The lyricist might write the lyrics at a different place. So it's a wonderful amalgamation of all these things that's happening, and the end product is such a beauty. And what you can see throughout this is the vision of the people who started it has made the binding possible. So we can just take some cues from that, and that's just a icebreaker for us to get started. uh, in the rest of the session, yeah, of course, we are just done with the introduction. So in the rest of the session, we will see quickly what has changed currently, and we'll also take up a case study on remote work circumstances. We'll see how each of the roles can evolve in the current situation, and some opportunities which are also available now. We'll conclude with some of the suggestions we can find in this presentation and have a summary. So if you look at a typical organizational setup, let's see who the stakeholders will be. So we'll start with the customers, of course, the person who funds the entire uh, program. We have the product manager who interacts with the customer. We have a marketing team who sometimes also interacts with the customers. We have the organization leadership, which gives the input to the product manager. So we also have the sales team, support team, and accounting team to support. So this product manager works in hand with a person called product owner. So he works with the scrum masters, the UI UX team, the quality assurance team, and of course the development team. And there are people who deploy things, and there is a release manager. And most importantly, last but not the least, we have a person who coordinates the entire thing, who is a project manager. So if you see, there are primarily two sets of people involved who deal with the what of the things, who deal with what is getting built, and there is another set of people who deal with when and how things are getting done. So these people take care of the timing, they take care of the money that goes into this. So these are meta things when you compare to what is actually getting built, but also equally important. So you can see that there is a definite, it's almost like a yin yang. There is a bit of what in when and how, and also when and how in what. So it's bi-directional. But in this session, like the title goes, we'll keep the focus towards product management, and individual project management and time management things I'm keeping it aside so that we can focus on what the actual agenda is. So taking a look into what changed in the current situation and how it looks like a challenge. One thing is we have definitely got rid of a situation where people are sitting together in office. So how has that impacted? It has changed the accessibility. So the days when you just look back at your peer and ask him to probably do a code review and ask them for a demo, all those things are changed now. So the accessibility is a bit different in these days. Team culture and companionship, of course, there is a difference in the synergy that you feel these days. You don't go for the coffee or movie outing together. You don't get to sit and chit chat midst of the work for a short workout. All those things are not happening these days. So grouping for discussions, for making important decisions inside a conference room, just whiteboarding those things. So that has changed now. So that landscape has moved on to virtual environments now. So there is a bit of difficulty people are facing in decision making. And also broadcasting of the information. Earlier, the project manager just needs to walk into the bay and say that, hey, we have postponed this particular release and we have a new priority that has come up. So there is a timely intimation given to everyone, and people start working on that thing from that time on onwards. But now that's not the case. Everyone is sitting at a different place. You just can't do that with a snap of finger broadcast anymore. Collecting updates in just one sitting. So I've seen people who are so smart that they just walk through the floor and talk to different people in each team and get the updates of how the progress is going on. So such ease of getting status is not possible in the current situation. Rather, people need to follow things asynchronously. Like you might drop a message to some of your colleague who might have been gone out for a lunch. The other person might be already there who might reply to you. So the other four members in the team, you might need to do more follow-ups. So those things are asynchronous now. So these are the challenges, and it's not essentially bad, but this is a different situation that we need to adapt to. That's how I see it. So let's see the case of this company called Zapier. uh, do anybody recognize this name? Anybody familiar with this? Yeah, you can leave your thoughts on the chat on the side. So we'll definitely have a look at your comments also. So Zapier is a company that deals with the online automation tool that connects various apps of yours. So it automates your workflow. For example, if there is a Google form somebody is filling and it is getting a dump of a new record, if you want to initiate probably a new email to somebody, it takes care of that. It takes care of numerous workflows like that. It automates your work and makes things easy and makes your work life a bit more productive. So that's the whole vision and purpose of the company. So highlights of this company are it's been existing for the last 8 years. It has about 3 million users and 250 employees across 17 time zones and over 50 million of annual recurring revenue. But why am I telling about this company here? Why is it so fascinating now? Because they've been remote since their day one. So for the 8 years, they've been working remotely. All these 250 employees are sitting at their own place and working and making this magic happening all this while. So let's see what we can learn from their way of working. So first thing is they have a clearly set vision and they are living by it. They want to automate a lot of workflow in the people's work life that they face on a day-to-day basis, and they also live by that. That means the company does a lot of automation in itself, like for their work also, so that they know that value that they can add to the customer's life. So they do a lot of automation on their end itself, and they emphasize that people know the vision of the company so that everyone gets to I mean, it's like a North Star. I know that vision is a term which has been kind of overwhelming and overly pronounced at any of such webinars, but I'll say that it is so much important that a person knows what the product or the company intends to do and how it adds value to the life of its customers. So the company lives by that, not just has it on a board anywhere. So it also hires people who are reliable and also responsible. Their interview processes are built that way. And after you are hiring that particular person, you trust him fully for the work that he has been hired for. So most often we see that some interview processes are either uh, not aligned with the work that you do, or probably you are interviewed like for about 3 4 rounds and then you get into the company just to know that the the kind of tedious interview that you went through is not worth it. Like your people are not trusting you anymore, or the work is not matching. But rather, it's always good to trust the people after such a difficult hiring process, so that they feel the connect with the company. And they use a lot of tools, but of course all of them are for different purposes. They use a variety of tools. You can read about this company online. There are a lot of material available. One of the most interesting tool is called Async, which they have built internally. It is mainly for documenting and reading purpose for essential decision making. So all the important decisions are made in this particular tool and recorded. So when you work on different places, you don't have that physical connect anymore. What you don't want to miss is important decisions. Like you don't want somebody to say that, hey, we decided that on that particular day, and I went ahead and implemented this code like this. Rather, you record it somewhere and ensure that people are reading it. So documenting and reading those documents is a habit of life in these employees. So they have built a process that boosts autonomy and accountability in all the individuals whom they are having in their company. So what is special about the process that is followed at Zapier? So they have a system by which they bring in the voice of customers to everyone. So these 250 employees that you have in the company, everyone knows what the customer's priority is, and everyone knows how their work is going to impact their customers. And that is paramount to them, so that it's not just a message that you are passing to them, but you are also ensuring that the employee knows if he falters, the customer will be impacted in so and so manner, which will also impact the company in such a way. And also you are making him feel important and also connected to the work. They have a lot of micro teams. In fact, that's how the work is getting done at Zapier. That means this EPD model has an engineer, a product manager, and a designer in the team. So these three people take any project and break it into chunks. And each of these tasks are taken by this particular micro team, and they execute it one by one to take it to completion. It ensures that things are not missed. It also ensures that people are having that bonding, and it also builds the product in multiple increments, just like the normal agile way. Transparency, all the individuals share what they are working on a date in weekly basis in an all hands meeting that they have. That ensures that there is no overlapping work. Everybody can count on what the other is working on. So it is also bringing in trust to the table, so that everyone understand what the management is working on and what the individuals are working on. So that's how you build trust. And of course, there are weekly catch ups that are advised. One is with your manager, one on ones, to ensure that the team members are getting what they require. Enough course corrections are made at the right point. And also, you gel with a manager who is sitting in some other place, but you still make the connect and make him understand that these are your goals and long term ambition, how I can make the most of it at Zapier. So, their retention rate is also quite high. So, that means that these weekly connects do matter with the managers, and hang out with the teams, not just for typical code review stuff and work, but you also connect for brown bag sessions, demos, lightning talks, which ensures that the team is working on a good bonding and it builds the culture. And of course, this is an important point. You might have heard of it. Some of you might have heard of it already. There is a framework called DACI framework, which ensures that everybody who is involved in a decision making is playing either one of these four roles, which includes driver, approver, consultant, and informed. So driver is a person who basically, as the name suggests, drives the entire process of decision making. He starts it, he goes on about building the information for making the decision, and approver is the person who finally approves, okay, this is the decision taken and let this be approved and taken to the next level. Consulted will be the person, or it can be more than one. They will be the contributors to this particular driver's process. Like if you want to have some additional input or consultation from someone within the company, these will be the consulted people. An informed person is finally that one person of whom the decision is expected, or probably the action is expected out of this decision. So this is the decision. The informed person will make the use of this decision, and with this information he will take action for his work. So all of this is recorded and followed as a process in Zapier, which ensures that trust, work, everything goes hand in hand. That as I said, documenting and reading, it actually fills the gap or the void that is left between various time zones these people are working in, and ensures that the remote working is smooth. So if you look at the way you are working currently, you can always be sure that there is no concept like remote work is an abstract concept. There is only a concept of work. So it's just for our own ease we have added terms like remote, because what you're doing is at the end of the day work. So it's just that you are sitting in a different setup and doing. So you just focus on that part of it and ensure that this is going to be the case. Like you, even if you have to go on a different situation and work, also it should continue. So there is, in essence, no remote working, but just working. Let's look at how each of the roles might want to play in this current situation. So one for Scrum Masters, I would say that it's a very important thing to continue the camaraderie that you have with the team, because a Scrum Master is a person who has a lot of say in what a team does. So the informal bonding, or probably the command that you have over the team, without having the titles like lead or something, is very important, because you have probably earned it the way you have worked in the team, and everything has reflected and brought the title to you, and you are seen as a person who can influence them to take the right decisions, of course. So and you have built a camaraderie with the team all these years, you should strive to retain it. It's very easy that you will probably end up in losing that connect, but I mean, it's a subjective call. I can't say that go and have a chat, or probably it's subjective to the Scrum Master and the team members, but ensure that you have that particular synergy and camaraderie. I can't emphasize more on the value that it will bring to your work. Of course, driving the sprint goals. You have to do the proper sprint planning every time, and you will have to know what the goals are for every sprint. One of my earlier product directors used to say that every sprint is almost like an art, or a craft that you have made, and you should know what its value is going to be for the product or the company. So you know what this particular part of the increment, the sprint that you're working on, will need to focus. So know those goals, work out them into tasks, and track it openly on a board. It could be Jira or any tool that you are using on a day-to-day basis, but track it openly so that all the team members are aware of it at any given point of time. There is nobody complains of things like favorism or miscommunication. So track it openly. Invite suggestions from the team. Of course, uh, the open doors should always be there, and you need to take comments in a very a positive way and see if the suggestions are valid. Probably we need to try a different technology, or so you consult with the right people and take those suggestions in the right direction always. And another important work of the Scrum Master is to add focus into the work of people and reduce the distractions. In the current circumstances, of course, you can't help with their personal environment, but most of the distractions, trust me, are not from the home or any personal environment that the people are in, but there is a lot of things that are dependent on other teams, or probably something goes wrong all of a sudden, and then there is a different estimation that is required. So such distractions be the insulation for the team, and you take the hit and help the team move on. Working with the product owner, you are the one who will get the first sign of the risk, anything that is happening inside the team. Of course, though, the product owner is advised to join all the daily stand-ups or all the meetings that the team goes on a daily basis. You just make sure that any risk that you foresee, please voice out to the product owner at once, and you also have a regular ongoing channel with the product owner to know that you are having this particular uh, vision for the next sprints that are coming ahead. What would be the future items looking like? Does they impin it could be that what you are seeing in the future can have an impact in the present, because you might want to course correct some things and make updates in such a manner. So you always work with the product owner to have this particular sneak peek of what might come ahead in the next sprint at least, and always be available to work out the new estimates, because it's not the fault of product owners or even the product managers. The entire industry is working on a lot of change, so it could be that you will be given a new set of requirements altogether, and the customer says that, I'm sorry boss, the earlier ones have been deprioritized, but we need you to work on the new requirement. So you need to be available to give the new estimates. So changes the way of work going forward. So better brush up your estimation skills. Talking about product owners, yeah, product owners, just like how Scrum Masters work hand in hand with product owners have the same situation with product managers. You need to have a very active channel of communication with the product managers, like almost at least twice a day. You should sync up on at least a chat. That's my personal belief. See how things are going on a day-to-day manner, and also follow the customers and vendors, because sometimes it's a news for your product manager as well. So things might change over the night, so it's always a good thing to know what the customers are up to, and is there any major change in the vendor whom you are working with. How will that impact your work? So you are that business brain inside the internal organization who keeps feeding these things to the team, and clearly communicate the requirements. This can be less emphasized. You have to clearly know a requirement from the functional and as well as non-functional standpoint, and this is a situation where you cannot afford to have a wrong or missed input. I'll say that work out a requirement to the most granular level you can and hand it over to the teams, so that they know that okay, this is the size of the item that I'm going to take up. So they start working on the tasks from the day one. They know this is the expectation, and then they work it ahead. Otherwise what will happen is they will feel that there is a lot of gray area in the requirements that is handed over to them, or they will feel that a lot of those things are added newly. So that will also create a mental pressure, or probably a psychological feeling of things that are changing very often, and that will not just reduce the morale but also bring down the speed at which the things are shipped. Rather, if you flip it around, if you are able to work on some requirement quite early, do things like a quick scan or a study before putting into the sprint. Make enough study so that you know what this particular, say for example, you are working on an integration with a new type of database. What could be the estimated times of response? What could be the endpoints that you see the impact for? So all these things you can of course take the help of architects and other members in the team, and ensure that you are adding enough input for the team from the day one. And also connect with the development teams. You plug into the things like daily stand-ups, demos, and go through the test reports and see how healthy the product is coming up. Are you seeing any risk? So that also ensures that you are there for the teams when they have some concerns or probably queries for you, and ensure that you are answering them. Yeah, this anticipating and preparation part is there for almost all the roles. And in case of product owners, yeah, he also needs to have a good say on the estimation, and he should work out the skills for estimating things, and stay as a, at least he should have, I'll say that within this product owner and product manager, one person should be quickly able to estimate the change that is coming up. And if that is not possible, at least have one quick and reliable source. Hey, this is the new change that is coming in. What do you think the new timeline will be? So this communication should be, I'll say, within one particular day, one working day. And the requirements, if at all they are changing, and I'm seeing almost a good chance for all the customer requirements to change in this particular season. So you should be able to communicate the new timeline for the customer. In that case, you should be on top of what the risks are and work with the project managers. There could be internal risks like a person going on a time off, of course, touch wood, health risks at this season. So all these things you should be on top of. You need to be as much a product person and also a bit of a people person in this case. Product managers. So product managers are typically those people, if you recall the earlier diagram, by virtue itself, they will work a lot remotely, or probably they will have a lot of external stakeholders. So his life will be less changed in terms of the work that he does, but he is dependent on people who have been exposed quite newly to this remote environment. So he for that matter, needs to have more frequent sync up with the customers and then ensure that they are informed of the progress that we are having in the work. One will it will ensure that the customer is aware of the things that we are doing. He doesn't think that we are sitting idle. And also, if he has any particular change that he is having in his mind, it will prompt him to spell it out as early as possible so that we don't work on things that are less important for him in vain. There is a lot of room for support issues. We have seen that some of you have already reported quality and performance issues are coming up these days. So add a special focus. I'll say that you add an alert or something and work with the support team. Have people who are quite experienced in the product there and see how important it is. The critical issues, you have SLA, so you need to be on top of that there and work out with the risks on PO and the project manager. So this is, I'm sure you all have this setup ongoing, but have, if not, ensure that you're having one and also add special checkpoints for this particular case. So launch plans, if you have any, I'll say that that should be the least priority for this particular point of time. Of course, if you are a startup and you are starting your business newly, or probably you are launching a product which is already delayed, then it's fine. Otherwise, I'll say that that should be the thing that is a bit flexible these days. You can accommodate a new launch a bit here and there, but ensure that that is kept flexible with the marketing team. And the leadership team, they are of course the ones who are releasing funds, so have a touch base with them a bit more frequently than what you had earlier, because now they don't have this usually project managers or product managers are co-located with the leadership of the organization, so they can just walk out of the door and just say uh, hey, for example, if the product manager's name is Ramesh, hey Ramesh, how things are going, so they can get that particular update already. So now you don't want to put them in panic, so it might be a email, or it could be probably a dashboard. Ensure that you are sending the status to the leadership a bit more frequently these days. Special budget approvals, of course there will be, of course, if you have new changes that are coming in, there will be a requirement for special budgets also. Some teams I have seen that hiring is a immediate need nowadays, so these budgets, you be ready to approve those, analyze those and approve those, of course, and align with POs. I'm sure generally product managers do it, but at least once in a week have a call. If there are any major changes, make sure you ping or email to them directly, but have a regular call with the POs. And most importantly, if you have made any changes in this particular span of time and reprioritize some things, take a log of things which have been reprioritized, or if some things have been added on an ad hoc basis or on a short term basis to be removed later, make a note of them so that when things are smooth and you want to replan your backlog, you have those things there and you can plan things accordingly. Project managers, so this is very important, I will say. Keeping I mean, it's quite sensitive and dicey as well, because when you want to keep a check on team's morale, it's no more the case where you just walk into their place and hey, again, I'm quoting that name again. Hey, Ramesh, come in for a chat. Let's have a quick coffee and talk about how things are going on. You talk about their work life, their probably whatever is possible in the personal life, and see they're in the right mood and they don't have any concerns. And that's how it was done earlier. But now, about all the meetings that you have now are obviously virtual, and you don't want to probably cram their calendar as well. So the number of meetings that the people attend these days is way high what it used to be, and now it's quite visible also. So you don't want to put such a pressure on the people. So how do you ensure that people are checked on their morale and motivation? It's quite subjective for each of the projects, but I'll say that start with ensuring enough off time for a team, because I've seen people who work like in about they are dependent on some people in Europe on a particular time zone, and they have to deliver it on Indian time zone, so they end up working in extended hours on a regular basis, so that kills the morale over a period of time. So ensure how their work times are, like how they plan their work. So see if they're having enough time for them, and if they tell some concern, please act on it. At least tell them these are the things that you have I mean, these are the steps that you have taken to act on their concern, so that it builds this very basic and essential factor called trust. Talking to the scrum masters, they were QA leads for weekly progress entries, and this is about the delivery part. I'll say that impromptu joining to the scrum meetings or the daily stand-ups or sometimes the retrospective ensures that people are getting this attention from project managers, and they get to know that okay, their work is being witnessed, they are equally respected and also noticed across the organization. So have a catch up with teams impromptu on a common meeting, and also talk to these people, have weekly touch points, and see how things are progressing. I'll say that have a ongoing dashboard or probably a document where you note down things, so that every time you get into it, you have a holistic view of how what has been happening from the day one. So keep alerts for support issues. Of course, you are the person who will be questioned at the end of the day on the SLAs and all that stuff. So monitor them religiously and see who is on top of critical issues, and ensure that they are unblocked on the fix that they are deploying. Syncing up with the leadership and product managers. Of course, it's recommended on a weekly basis, and it can be even more frequent. This ensures that these leadership and members are aligned to what is happening now. It could be a short call, but if at all there is a change that is bringing in that is being brought from the organization in terms of funding or from the customers via product managers, it has to be attended as early as possible. Work with the entire product team. This includes the PO also, for planning things a bit advanced in the time. So I'll say that always there should be a plan for at least one more quarter, so that of course this when I say the requirements need to be clear, that is not a work that is done in just one day for a team that has like about 10 12 developers. So you need to start working on it as early as possible. So I'll say that always you have uh, a vision of up to next one quarter, and whichever tool that you are using, may it be Jira or anything else. Nowadays there are a lot of reports that are available. You can see what is the average timeline of an epic in one particular team, and how is it for a bug. How much time do we take to close a bug? How much time do we take to probably review a code? So all these things you can easily get from the project management tools that we have today. So you can see what is not going right. You can work I mean, improving the team efficiency. So just setting up the right process there will make a lot of difference. So connect often with the people who are at the gates, who manage, who are the gatekeepers for the product at the end of the day. So see if there are things. Of course, they will be working on a lot of things like market readiness of the product, and making it to the legal complaints and all that. So ensure that you are getting the right message from them, and if there are any impediments, work with them on getting them closed. And last but not the least, make most of the stuff automated, so that you don't get to follow people, because following up with people is almost erroneous in many circumstances, and also doesn't happen very well in the current remote situation. So whatever is possible, please get it automated, so you can just go to a particular dashboard and see what went well and what did not. All that is possible, and also it adds very less risk of something getting lost. This also ensures that you need to have very less in-person conversations, and whenever you are doing, ensure that you are not getting into a micromanagement mode. that is a very important part for this particular way of working. So this is a bit different. This is a part where we talk about what all opportunities this is giving for you. So this is about the positive sides. You have a lot of time that we have saved from the travel now, and you can use it for your own personal work and all that. You have very less distractions to manage these days, and of course you don't have the colleagues who are walking in and uh, talking things which are less important to you, but you have some distractions. For example, you have to feed your baby, or probably uh, go out and buy something. All these things are which you can plan within a particular span of time. So you have distractions, but those are manageable. And of course, this makes you more disciplined and you can enhance your planning skills. That means there is very less that you depend on the physical presence now. You are getting the actual work done these days. And this is this is a very less noticed thing. If you can think what is the amount of money you might have saved from the travel, fuel, clothes that you might have purchased for your, I mean, if at all it was a regular work scenario, clothes that you might have purchased for your office wears, the junk food that you might have had, all this money saved, you can invest that in learning. And yeah, there is a lot of slack that you have cut these days by less politics and small talk. Ensure that it boosts your productivity. And finally, looking at the challenges that we might have looked in the first place. So you can see that there are just two parts to it. The first part is about just having a co-located environment, and the second part is about all the data that you can put together to do things work. So, if at all I have to suggest, for the first part, you embrace technology to make sure that you are communicating to the team on a regular basis. Accessibility is empowered by the new technology. Like you can use the collaboration tools, and you can use Google Docs and probably OneNote or whatever is comfortable for your team to record decisions and ensure that things are discussed over a chat. And finally, make the most out of data. And this is as granular as you can get. If you are a product guy, you have to get into the core and define things. And if you're a scrum master, I'll say that you work on early estimations of the changes that are coming up, so that they can also, like the product manager also can go back and tell to the customer within a short period of time that, hey, if we have to do this, we have to probably reprioritize this, and this is the estimate. So ultimately, it becomes a problem of customer. Of course, we are giving him a chance to be informed this time, so that makes a lot of difference. And yeah, nevertheless, go agile if you haven't still, because this is the best chance. If you are agile already, most of these problems that we have discussed are already addressed. So I'll say that agile saw the entire thing coming. You have the core values of agile, which is about having a focus, openness in the team, respect for the team members, and having the courage to go to the things and pursue it, and having a commitment to do it. And if you are following the ceremonies that were prescribed by Agile, which includes the daily stand ups, planning, retrospective, and review, all these things would have been addressed quite well in time already. So that's pretty much it. I think I bit overstood on the time. So, yeah, time for